So we've built a lot of nice PCs on this channel, like this one over there. I think if you can build yourself a nice PC and you've got the skills, then I think this is the best kind of way to get yourself a really, really good creator PC. But, here's the thing. If you want to perhaps buy just a really good creator PC for you, then there aren't that many options. But there is recently a new option come to the surface, and I'd like to share that with you. Because if you don't have the time to build yourself the one and get something that's already kind of built and just kind of plug and play, then this is really, really good option. And what I'm talking about is these guys from Skytech Gaming actually released a new section on the website, and now they're also producing like pro kind of workstations or PCs type of thing for creators and, you know, creative professionals. And it's called Skytech Pro lineup. So let's have a look at it.
Looking for a cheap way to license your Windows? Check out WhoKeys through the links in the video description. Make sure to use the code TN20 to get a 30% off. Paste the license to the activation settings and you're all done. This license is for Windows 10, but you can upgrade it to Windows 11 for free. They also offer Microsoft Office 19 license. Use the same code TN20 to get a 30% off. Check out WhoKeys.com in the video description below.
Very important to mention that even though Skytech has sponsored some of the series in the past, for example, the Creator PC build, if you haven't checked that one out, or if you don't know which PC to build for yourself, then there's always in every single video description there's like a PC build guide in the description below where you can see that Skytech sponsored that video series, but also you can build yourself the PC build, but there's a whole thing there. But anyway, we did work together with Skytech there, and I am in contact with them, and we did talk about this, and they don't know I'm making this video. They might sponsor, or we might be able to look at some of the PCs in another video, like in depth, to see like how good is it built and do like an actual review of their whole PC build and so on. But right now we're just going to be looking at the website and just to give you a few tips what to choose for and what is the right thing for you to do. But we're going to be just looking at the website, and I'm also going to give you some tips and just a little few tips and tricks how you can get the best system for you, best performance for you. And sometimes you just get into the marketing trap and just buy more things, but you might not necessarily get the best performance for you. And interestingly, Skytech, the guys in there, sent me this link a few weeks ago, and they said, look, we're going to be doing this, and you know, let us know what you think about this. And I checked out the website and I was like, I'm not sure about this, and this, and I gave them that feedback and said, look, I'd probably, that's not exactly right, and I'd like to know how to get that, and how was this, and they actually changed it. Now I'm looking on the website, they've made the changes, which just shows how eager these Skytech Pro guys are to create something really, really good. You might have also seen them in the Gamers Nexus channel video where they did the Kronos like review, and then also they did the like the $5,000 PC build as well, the Skytech Mark 1. Interesting, that one's got like 1 million views. The not so praised PC got only like 600,000-700,000 views. But basically what happened is like that PC wasn't as good, or first of all there was shipping damage and there was some like building issues as well. But Skytech really showed how eager they are to like make it right. They released a statement and everything, they're fixing these things. But that just shows me to again that these guys really want to produce a really good product rather than just rake in lots of money and then take advantage of all the customers. Make your mark. We've got this Pro lineup here, reminds me of like ProArt, designed to outperform. You can get clock speeds of up to 5.8 gigahertz, up to 24 cores, so looks like we're only Intel based here, and that to me looks like i9 13900K, up to 48 gigabytes of VRAM, so they're probably offering the A series of GPUs as well. 128 gigabytes of RAM and up to 12 terabytes of storage. 444, well, you could probably get more. That it's designed for professional users who need the power to run the world's most demanding software and applications. Its top-tier components are carefully curated, benchmarked, and tested to handle even the most demanding tasks of today's working creative professionals. This Promark III, 5, 7, and 9. I think this is like kind of representing Intel's i3, i5, i7, and i9. We're gonna see that in a moment. 3, 5, 7, and 9. Let's open these in a moment. So this i3, is that what we have here? Yes, i3 12100. So this is a 4-core CPU if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 4 cores, 8 threads CPU here. Okay, here's one of the first things. This is such an overkill cooling for this CPU. Like, you could put a potato on this CPU and this wouldn't be a problem. This is only 60 watt rated power, and honestly, does it come with a cooler in the box as well? Let's see. Yeah, so this actually comes with a heatsink. They should really give you that cooler and you could save $100, because that is definitely overkill. First of all, we're gonna go with the cheaper option here, because that's still very, very good. Even if you go with like i7 later on, it will still be all right kind of cooling system. 240mm liquid cooler, too much. Case fans, these are the ones that actually come in the case, with the case. Fractal pop, by the way, this case is very, very good as well. Pop air, very good airflow, high quality design, like cheap as well. The motherboard options, there isn't that many options here. We've got the Z690 ProArt, which is very expensive, and then we've got the Z690 Pro A, and there's only DDR5 options available here. It's good for that. With this CPU, there's no point in going any of the middle ones. I'd say that I'd like to see a different motherboard in the middle here. I'd like to see the Gigabyte Z690 Aero G motherboard here, not the Aorus Pro, because I do think that's slightly better value motherboard for what you're gonna get here. Because that Aorus Pro is really like a gamer motherboard, as you can see there. But the Aero G would be creator motherboard, which I think would be fitting a bit better in this kind of lineup. And it will be slightly cheaper, and there's also DDR4 version available. So memory, this is interesting thing. This is where I actually made them recommendation, and now look, they have improved. They've added this thing here, which is rated RAM speeds for 64 gigabytes and 128 gigabyte sections are currently limited at 5000 megahertz due to unavailability of XMP. Future BIOS updates may improve RAM speeds. Now, this is not 100% correct, because as you can see, with the 64 gigabytes, what they have done is they've used 4 sticks instead of 2 sticks, instead of using, like 2 32 gigabyte sticks. Then you would have no problem with the XMP. Honestly, it's not to do with the frequency, it's really due to kind of how many sticks you have, okay? Because it's dual channel. And if you start to split the channel to have 2 sticks per channel, it's gonna be very not as stable. It can't. The memory controller can't run the CPU like the memory with 4 sticks as fast as it can with 2 sticks. That's basically that. So, for example, the 13th gen has very good memory controller, and it supports up to 5600 megahertz megatransfers per second for the RAM, and that's gear 1. So your memory is going to run 5600, your memory controller is going to run 5600 as well. You can get memory sticks that are like over 7000, and the 13th gen is most likely going to handle it no problem. And you could get 64 gigabytes of RAM with like 6400 speeds or something like that. I'm not sure if those kits are available there. They should be, actually. So there's no problem with that. The problem is with 4 sticks. Once you have 4 sticks, the memory controller isn't as good. Now, future BIOS updates may improve RAM speeds. Yes, slightly, but this is not completely true either, because what will improve the speeds are also better RAM kits and also the CPUs. For example, if you put a 13th gen CPU in there, it's going to be much better at achieving those RAM speeds than the 12th gen, because the memory controller on the CPU is a generation higher than the 12th gen and Ryzen 7000 actually as well. So here's one of the first kind of mistakes or things where they can improve here. Never buy 4-stick 64 gigabytes XMP. Now, you might get it to work. If you do, it's going to be extremely good silicon lottery. You're going to get CPU with extremely good memory controller, and even at 128 gigabytes, 5000 megahertz, that is pretty ridiculous. I'd like to see that on the 13th gen. Now, it might work, but actually official specs from the 13th gen are that with 4 sticks, it supports 4000 megahertz, not 5000 megahertz. So I'm thinking this is not going to be as stable for creators. Now, they might have done some testing that I don't know of, but what I have tested, it's probably not going to be stable at 5000 megahertz, but this wasn't there before. I said to them, how did you get 128 gigabytes of RAM run at 5600 megahertz, and they said, yeah, good point, we didn't actually. So if I was you, I would not be running them at 5000 megahertz either. Now you can try this, they might be stable, you might get a good CPU, but most likely that's not going to be stable there. So what they should be offering here really, if I was them, is 128 gigabytes at 4000 megahertz. It's not going to be a ton of difference in the actual performance of the RAM, right? It may be some very selective creative applications, yes, maybe. Most people won't see the difference, but what they will like is like 128 gigabytes. That will be beneficial for them. And then the same with 64 gigabytes. Take that max 5000 megahertz out. You can completely finally do that. Just use those two 32 gigabyte sticks that you have for the 128 gigabytes and use them for 64 gigabyte one, and no problem there, you can run them absolutely fine. Now I don't think 64 gigabyte with this CPU is going to be good, so we're going to downgrade this to 32 gigabytes here as well. For graphics here we can see all Nvidia cards here: 3050, 3060, 70 Ti, 80 Ti, and 4090. Now that's good here to see 4090 actually $1900. That's very good, because if you go to like Amazon, you're not gonna find this at $1900 there. There'll be a good few hundred, as you can see. More tough is, look, it's like 2.6K, 2.5, 2.3. If you go to Newegg, it's exactly the same thing. The GPUs there are much more expensive than what they offer. So in some sense, it might make sense to actually buy a pre-built PC like from them, as you can see. Look, what the heck? 3300. So this is MSI Gaming X. This is the closest one to the MSRP, like over 2K. This is 3K. Look at that. There's absolutely ridiculous prices for the 4090. But here, as you can see, you can get it much cheaper, only $1900. 3050 for that is fine. I'm glad that they haven't tried to put any AMD cards, even the Pro lines there, because like what you pay for them and get in return aren't as good here. And also good to see the Nvidia RTX 8000 lines. So for 3D creators with like a lot of VRAM, you can get this here, like the A6000 with 48 gigabytes of VRAM. Look at that, that's going to be absolutely insane. So primary drive, they've gone with the Western Digital Black SN850, which is very good drive, very fast drive, like one of the top drives there. I wish there was like a little bit of a cheaper option there as well, because $133 at this like CPU is slightly like ridiculous. I wish there was a cheaper option available as well. Maybe like give us Sabre Rocket or something like that, or Team Group Kadia Z440, a little bit cheaper than this 1 terabyte model. Maybe slightly slower, but about $33 cheaper. Interestingly, they only offer hard drives here as the secondary drive, not M.2s, which I think they should, because like this MSI one and all of these motherboards have like 4 M.2 slots, PCIe Gen 4 capable. So they should really, if I was them, I'd offer this, like have like extra drives there that people can just pop in. You just pop them in and you can make some more money, sell more drives. I think a lot of people would do that. But for us, it's actually good as well. So you can buy them yourself, get them cheaper perhaps, and install them yourself very easy as well. But I think the point here is, if you buy it all pre-built, it would be nice to get those pre-built as well. But there's some hard drives here that you can buy separately in there. Looking at power supplies here, 550 watt gold power supply here. That looks a little bit expensive for what we're paying here. So if you're getting this, I wouldn't go with the 550. I'd go with the 650 minimum here. Perhaps even get the 850, just because you'll have some upgrade options for GPU and other things. But look at that, everything is platinum rated here. So they're using very high-end PSU, so your power supply is not going to be a problem there. Operating system, Windows 11 Pro. I wish there was an option as well with no Windows, so you can install it yourself if you don't like building this. But I guess that is the point here, that if you get yourself a system, it should be all like up and running, right? And then standard build fee here for $75, Windows 11 Pro, 1 year warranty. So the build fee doesn't look that much here, as you can see, only $75. Here's the thing, $1,500 for these specs, that's not going to be very, very good. So if you're thinking about buying one, then I don't think this is really worth your money, because you're not going to get a ton of performance as a creator with these specs. 5 now here. is much better option here. We've got 12600K and 13600K. Here now, both of these CPUs, again, probably slightly overkill for the 12600K, the liquid cooler. You can go with the air cooler there as well. A very, very good cooler that is. So the 13600K is absolutely killer CPU. So if you go with that one, that can go slightly hot there. So maybe perhaps keep that 240mm cooler. That's fine there. Again here, I wish there was the motherboard option there. So motherboard, memory option, graphics cards here, they have bumped it up to 3060. Yeah, probably good idea there. I'd probably go with 3080 there. That's like a big jump there. I wish there was 3090 there as well, because for like about $1,100, you could get something so much better than the 3080 Ti just because of the VRAM. We'd get double the VRAM. So Skytech, if you can get the supply of 3090s, then that would be really, really good kind of spot there as well. Obviously the 4090 is like ridiculous performance there. I think they're going to refresh like all of them. When 4080s they have supply for that, they'll probably put it there, but 4080 here should be like with this price point rather than $1,100-$1,200 or something like that. They just keep increasing the price NVIDIA. And then the GPUs here are all the same. Interestingly, so when you change this to 3080 Ti, which has 350 watt TDP, interesting, the power supply here isn't linked to that option here. So if you change that one, you shouldn't really go with a 650 watt power supply, because that isn't enough really to power that. You should at least get the 850. So Skytech probably needs to fix that there as well, or they might like have a little before they start building. They're not actually going to start putting 650 power supply with the 850. They might like contact you, say, look, actually there's a glitch in there, you know, you shouldn't really get this one, you should be getting 850. So as you change this power supply up from 750 to, or like 3070 to 3080, especially Ti, then this should change here as well to 850. All the CPUs and GPUs are exactly the same, but this is the, you know, ProMark V model. You've got the i5s. Looking at the 7 model, we've got 12700K and 13700K. And then now looking, they only offer no air cooling, but just 420mm air cooling. And as you can see, they've changed the case as well to Fractal Design Meshify 2 XL massive case. We did the $19,000 PC in that case. It's slightly overkill for the 12700K. I do think there should be like a 360mm version available there, but the thing is, for this price, might as well go with the 420. And I wish there was an air cooling option there as well for the 12700K, like an HU 12A, a cooler for example. And here's the first kind of difference here. Let me show you these things side by side. So we've got the a 9 and 7 here side by side. Here's the thing, if you go with the 12900K here for $499, the thing is the 13700K i7 is actually a better CPU than the i9 in every single way. It's got better clock speeds, more cache, and it's cheaper and it's newer. So if you're gonna buy with the i9, don't go with the 12900K. I mean, this is like one of Intel's like kind of bugs in the system, that they've actually released an i7 that's cheaper than the i9, but they're still trying to sell the i9 with a higher price, which makes 0 sense. So it's kind of Intel's bug there. And the 13900K 729. How much is the 13900K right now? Looks like they're selling it much more expensive than we can get it from Newegg. So I'd jump from the 13700K to 13900K rather than this 12900K. That's not a middle CPU. It's actually worse than this i7, so that's that. There is a 940mm fans included. I guess, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they're running the AIO push and pull configuration here with 940mm fans. I guess you can put it in the bottom there as well. So you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They must run push and pull configuration because motherboard, interestingly here, they don't offer you lower tier option here. And the RAM configuration is exactly the same. For the i9, they offer you the 4090 with 4.2 grand. And power supply here, they only offer you the 1350 watt gold. Now they should offer you the platinum as well the actual more expensive power supply with the i9 model, the Seasonic Prime PX 1300 watt platinum one, because it's better power efficiency rating. But as you can see, this is ATX 3.0 power supply, which means that you'll get direct cable to put into your GPU, so you don't have the kind of adapter problem, which for them is going to be a huge thing in the like building process, and another thing to just go wrong kind of thing. Much better just put straight away cable to the GPU, which I guess I get here. So to me, this 13900K model here seems like the best option in terms of performance. I mean, it's obviously that, but if you want like buy a system that's really good, then this 4.5K, you'll get kind of the best system for your money. Because if you start to get a bit lower, like the i3 I think is ridiculous, like for 1500 you can build a much better PC for like much better specs, like with 3060 and 12600K easy with the same price. i5 model is quite good there as well, but some of the things I wish there was a little bit of an option for a cheaper, perhaps cooler. For about 1800 with a 12600K and 3060, you'd like to get maybe 3070 or something like that, because again, gets closer to like the value of the, you know, the performance and value start to get more in line. I think when you get to the ProMark VII version, then you start to be like, if you build it yourself and what they offering you, it's going to get pretty good, about $3,000. I know this is a bit more expensive and you could get a much smaller case with, you know, similar cooling, but it's kind of in terms of for the value and what you get for it. Actually, for 3.3K, you should easily get the 13700K. I guess, yeah, some of the things are very high end. It's expensive. Like if you're gonna go completely top end, then the 13900K and 1490, this one seems like the best like value. If you start to build yourself, you start to spend very similar amount of money and so on. But the thing is, if you look at the same system and you go for the likes of Pugetsystems that also offers these things. See, Pugetsystems has the better RAM configuration, as you can see. 4 sticks of 65 or 2 sticks. Looks, they offer you that, so RAM is a little bit better. Pugetsystems has tested it a little bit more, a little bit better. So there we go. Let's try the same. What did we have for this RAM configuration here? 64 gigabytes. Okay, let's do 64 gigabytes here as well. But we're gonna go, interesting. I don't know, why would you add $53 for like 4 sticks instead of 2 sticks? 2 sticks much better. Okay, here as you can see, you can add M.2 slots here as well. M.2s here, which you can't on ProMark. Let's see, Define 7XL Black, 850 power supply. Let's put 850. See, the power supply there is a little bit, you get much better power supply here with ProMark. Let's put 1200 watts. So that's closer to what you get here. Look at this. Intel is actually air cooling it, okay? NHU 12A with the 13900K. They're just forcing the Intel limits instead of just letting the motherboard do its job like what they're probably letting to do here. So cooling, they're not letting you change that. OS Windows 11, nothing else here. Okay, let's have a look at the price here. What's our price? $6,000 compared to 4.5 grand. So as you can see, you can get a much cheaper option here from the Skytech, save quite a ton of money, but Pugetsystems is completely like another level there as well. Like the way they configure it all to your needs and build it to your needs, it's much more kind of customized service compared to this ProMark. So that's why I love Skytech Gaming here, this option here, because you've got much more affordable options, still some customization. They have obviously, you know, tried and tested this. I love the guys behind them. They really try to make good systems with good money and everything. So if you want to check them out, I'll leave links for this in the description below where you can, you know, get yourself, try this ProMark there. Hopefully we can get one of these systems in, maybe perhaps the 7 one, to check it out, do a review of this. We'll see what it's like, what they have done and all the service kind of review of this. Stay tuned for that if we can do that. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks guys for watching and I'll see you soon.